What up? He's on the sick one to sobriety. My name is Rob, and I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. Today, I want to pick up back on the stories where I had left off. So, talking about my ending of my career at fucking at Home Depot, right? I got these jobs at Home Depot, got a little bit of money to move around, but it wasn't what I was looking forward to. Obviously, I can't stay there the rest of my life, right? So I ended up getting this job at the 99-cent store. I was so fucking proud and happy because it was so convenient. And it was finally my first job being sober. And I was like, dude, I fucking earned it because of all the persistence that I put into it of fucking going every day and asking the manager if he had work and just going every day and bugging the shit out of him until finally he says, yeah. And that, and I got that idea of doing that. My parents always told me to do it back in the day when I was pretending to go look for a job. That's what they wanted me to do. But my sponsor, my padrino, is the one that told me, like, hey, fool, go every day, watch, you'll see. And yeah, sure enough, that old school mentality still works. That were, because I remember like not wanting to, thinking it was like that's an outdated, that's like an outdated thing to do, tactic. That's the word I was looking for. I'm telling you, that's an outdated tactic. Did I say it right? Tactic. God damn it. Um, but it worked. It worked in my favor, and so I got hired, right? And I remember rolling up the first day I rolled up to start my shift. What do I find right at the entrance? A big ass joint. I only had like two hits, like taken from it. And I looked at it, I was like, damn. I was like, dude, how I would love to come and work my shift high as a motherfucker, right? Pero según yo, like, I'm in sobriety, I can't do this to myself. And you know what? I'm gonna be a hater. I ain't gonna let no I ain't gonna let nobody else get this shit either. I fucking stepped on there and shit, like fucking crumbled it under my feet. I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, God damn. I started my shift. They put me in the back, in the freezer section and in the refrigerator section. It was around Christmas time, so there was a bunch of like holiday stuff going on and like holiday products. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows this by now that stores always put all the old shit in the front, all the good shit in the back. And that tripped me out when I first heard about that. I was like, "What? We do that here?" But they're like, "Yep, that's how we stock all our shelves." I was like, "Cool." And I loved working back there because I would be stocking stuff. My favorite was, and I still love it up to this day. But obviously, I only see it around the holidays. Is Christmas during Christmas time, which is the eggnog. I fucking love just sipping. I'll have it once or twice maybe during the Christmas season, and that's about it. So this time they had like little bottles of eggnog. I'd be back there stocking stuff and sipping on eggnog. I'd get a little bit of the munchies. I'd get myself a Lunchables. I'd be back there chilling. And I remember I had left the trash there one time too. And the senora that was right there, she was like my boss. Um, she fucking found it and she's like, oh, she's like, esto es tuyo? And she like busted out with the fucking empty tray of the Lunchable and the empty bottle of the eggnog. And I was like, no. I was like, whoa, where's my program? ¿Dónde está mi pinche programa? Where's all the stuff I learned in rehab about being honest? I looked, I looked straight into her eyes and fucking lied to her and be like, nah, that's not mine, señora. No es mío, no sé de quién será. A lo mejor del otro muchacho gordo que trabaja aquí. And she's like, no, sí, cierto, a lo mejor sí. And fucking, I would be doing little stupid shit like that, right? Once or twice a week at the end of my shift, I'd go in there and I'd leave the store. I would have like fucking a big bag of chicken wings or chicken nuggets or just like a bunch of different like munchies or something like that I could share with the people in the rehab. And then like I wanted it would make me feel like I was accepted there at rehab. I was still looking for that acceptance from others when I couldn't just accept myself. You know what I mean? The same shit that I was looking for when I was actively using meth was the acceptance of people. I was still looking for it, sober as fuck, still looking for acceptance from people. And I would take these munchies and be, oh, that's right, Big Ron, gracias, hook it up. And they'd be fucking hooking up all the food that I brought home, or everybody like getting their even share of the munchies and shit like that. And that's how it was, right? And what I'm about to get into it is what it is, right? So during my rehab, it was highly suggested to me to not choke the chicken, right? Like, it's just what it is. they like right there, they say that if you're doing that, you're just like twisting your mind and it's getting fucked up and you're not really healing and this and that. And pues te lavan el coco and it makes you really trip out like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But after you get out of rehab and you're like just in the zone, you know what I mean? I seen a pair of two watermelons that had like a little bit of nipples on it, and that's all it took. I was just like, dude. I had to go jalar el pescuezo al ganso, right? I went into the refrigerator, into the big walk-in refrigerator where they have all the produce. I don't know why. I don't know why. I decided to like stand up on the ladder. I stood up on the ladder in the middle of the fridge and went to town. I'm like, damn. Oh, that was really hard for me to tell. It was hard for me to say, but I had to do my thing right in the refrigerator of the 99-cent store. And after that, it was never the same. I could never return to that place ever again. And I was just like, fuck, dude. Good thing nobody caught me. Good thing nobody walked in. Good thing there's no camera. I don't know if there was cameras in there. But I was just like, dude, nobody caught me. And you know what I liked? It was that it was a little bit of danger involved in it. Because what if I would have got caught? You know what I mean? I know it's some scandalous shit. I know if you go to jail or if you get caught doing that shit, I know stuff happens to you in jail. You know what I mean? But I didn't get caught. It's not on my record, so it doesn't count. So anyways, I'm working at this place for a while, and it's only part-time. So it wasn't the best paying job, you know. I wasn't making the most money, but I was making just enough to pay my bills. And what was cool about working there at the 99-cent store, it was down the street from the Home Depot that I would post up with the Mexican nationals. And a couple of them came up into the 99-cent store and they saw me in my uniform, the 99-cent store only shirt. It was a burgundy shirt with it. I don't know what color they have now. And they're like some of them, actually, there was two guys that I ran into. Like I would see them every day at Home Depot, and they were like actually proud of me. And they're like, "Oh, you got a job right here?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, you're a citizen?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool. That's what's up. Like, congratulations on the new job." He's like, "Being out there is not for everybody. You know what I mean? If you could have a legit job, then that's cool." And I was like, "I appreciate that, guys. It was cool. I thought it was nice of them to say that shit." But honestly, I wanted something better. And my sponsor started telling me like, "Hey, fool, I see that they have signs at Walmart that they're hiring." And the Walmart was a little bit further, but I had a bike, so I was able to roll my ass over there. And it was right next door to the Home Depot, so it wasn't like a big fucking difference of me going to the Home Depot. And I said, you know what? Let me try it. Because my dad used to work at Walmart back in the day, and he used to make good ass money. So I was just, let me get into it. Maybe I might like it. I made my application, and again, I had to use that persistence tactic of calling. And I called maybe like 3 or 4 times, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna give you an interview." I was like, "Hell yeah, that's right." And then went into the interview with some dude. I don't remember his name, but he's the hiring manager. And he told me like, "Hey, like, why'd you apply for this job? What are you looking for? What are you trying to get out of this place or whatever?" And I told him straight up, I was like, "Look, I'm just getting out of rehab. I'm looking for a fresh start. I just want to go back to a normal life if there's any such thing as it." And he's like, "You know what? I understand you completely." He's like, "You're hired." And I was like, "Oh, just like that." He's like, "Just like that." He's like, "But the position that we have is the cart collector." He's like, "That's the only thing I can hire you for since you don't have any retail experience and stuff like that." And it's like, besides the 99-cent store, he's like, "But that's not really doesn't transfer over here for some reason." And I was like, "Whatever, dog. Hire me." He hires me. Boom. They gave me a start date. I was excited. And the whole crew of the cart collectors, puro pichi weirdo a la verga. All of us are just some type of weird, are just some type of weirdo out there, dude. Like we're like the deranged crew and shit, you know. But I liked collecting carts because it was peaceful. The store managers and all that shit, they let me be. They never talked to me. I was always up and down. Like there was no time that they saw me just stood there, right? But I know how to fake the funk. I know how to, you know what I mean? I know how to lie to kick it. Because there was a lot of times que me hacía pendejo. I would just go lock myself in the bathroom for like 15, 20 minutes because it was hot. Or I just wanted to take a break. You know, and I'm just moving, just like doing little stupid shit like that, you know? Coming up on Gatorades and stuff. They would give you like free waters and then just like trying to manipulate the shift, you know, to have it my way, just getting paid my way without having to do all the hardcore work. But I want to say 95% of the time I was working. I even got compliments from the managers that like, oh, like I'm always on the move. I'm always doing this. I'm always doing that. And I was like, eh. I worked out there in the sun. I worked out there in the rain. Like it didn't bother me because I fucking loved it. And what I loved being out there the most is that every day you did not know who or what you were gonna run into out there. I ran into fools from San Isidro that I used to tweak it with back then. I was like, what the fuck are you doing all the way up here? You know? I used to find wallets and purses. And when you find a wallet or a purse, and I'm supposed to be from this fucking badass rehab and have all kinds of programa and be a fucking honest and responsible. You really think I'm gonna be honest and responsible when I find a wallet with money in it? Man, dog, I'm fucking struggling. And you know what the fucked up part is? Like the fucked up thought that I had was when I found that I remember this one particular time I found the wallet. I had $115 in it, cash money. First thing I said to myself was like, fuck, how come I couldn't find this wallet when I was on a sick one? You know, like look, like what? I'm supposed to be sober. Why am I having these fucking crazy ass thoughts like this? Like what the fuck? My mom always taught me one thing is like, if you find a wallet, if you're gonna come up on the money, whatever, she's like, but turn it in, cause there's pictures in that wallet, family pictures, there's IDs, there might be somebody's green card up in there. You never know. And you know it's fucked up to lose a green card. It's fucked up to lose your driver's license or family pictures. You know who knows if that's like the last picture they ever took of who they're one of their loved ones. She's like, well, at least turn it in, you know, with nothing in it. Sure enough, boom, did that. I would take out the money, pocket it, turn it into fucking customer service. And I did that a few times. I remember finding a purse. What? I found a big old 60 a case of 60 eggs. I remember fucking taking them to the Annexo and shit. I was all hooked up right there and I loved it because I was doing my own thing. But there was no honesty. There was no responsibility on my part. And I got fired from Walmart because I decided while I was still on my probation period, because the probation period right there is like a year long. You can't have no write-ups. You can't have nothing. I decided for no other reason that taking a trip to Las Vegas with my partners from the rehab was more important than going to work. I don't know how I made that make sense in my head, but I did. I knew I couldn't call off for more than one day in a row. And that's just how the probation thing works. Unless you were like really sick and you could prove it, but I couldn't prove it. I couldn't, you know. And my homies, and you know what? Everything was happening for me not to go to Las Vegas, but I wanted to go to Vegas because it was going to be my first time ever. Even if I was going sober, I wanted to go because I wanted to see what it looks like, you know. And everything was happening like first, like I was with a group of 4 people. The other 3 people, they dropped out of not going. They're like, no, I can't go because this, because the money, because of this. I found 2 other people to go with. And then we couldn't rent a car. Oh, excuse me. That was nasty. Had something in my mouth. And then I found 2 other people to go with. And we couldn't rent a car. And I was like, dude, this is my sign not to go. Like, dude, everything's happening for us not to go. Time passes by, and then all of a sudden, somebody was able to rent a car. They did everything possible to fucking rent that car because we needed a credit card and a bank card and this and that, and they ended up getting it. And I was like, fuck it, I guess I'm going to Vegas. And I called off those 3 days that we were in Vegas. And when I came back, when I wanted to go to work, they're like, just come pick up your last check, fool. And I was like, damn. I was like, fuck. I was so sad because I was like, dude, I love that fucking job. It was a legit fucking job. I fucking loved it, but going to Vegas was a little bit more important because it was a legit experience being in Vegas, honestly. But I went to go pick up my last check. I told my sponsor, like, hey, fool, they fucking fired me because I decided to go to Vegas. He called me a dumbass and a bunch of other names that I can't remember. And I was just like, yeah, I know. I remember even when I went to go pick up my last check, the manager, she's like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I'm just here for my last check. She's like, you called off too much, huh? I was like, yeah, she did me that look like. They fucking look like motherfucking dumbass. Like, you had a good job. And I did have a good job, and I loved it. And it was one of my biggest regrets, honestly, was getting fired from Walmart because I could have been there. Right now, it would have been almost 10 years working there. It would have been crazy. Who knows how much money I would have been making right there right now. But those are just like the early things of coming out of rehab. of how you try to navigate through your responsibility, of how I try to navigate through putting the fucking everything I learned into practice out in the real world, and it's hard. It's fucking hard, and then you're gonna fail. And the pedo is to get back up, and that's like one thing that I learned was like, dude, I'm gonna fuck up. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes. I know my mental game is not right, dude. I used for more than half of my life. Well, at that time, right? For more than half of my life, I used drugs. There's no way that in 3 months my brain is gonna go back to normal. There's just it's impossible. Of course, I'm gonna have stupid thoughts. Of course, I'm gonna be doing stupid things because I don't know how to live a goddamn life. I don't know how to be a fucking grown up. I just don't. And so I had to learn. I learned, and I had to learn on the fly. And that's one thing um that I'm always gonna remember is that I just got thrown out there, and they're like, boom, like learn how to live, motherfucker. And then it's just how life is for some people. But though losing that job at Walmart was like a big eye opener, and it was a big eye opener for me to run away. When things go wrong in Robert's life, he takes flight. Not flight like putazos. He takes flight as in he runs away from situations. So at this time when I got fired from Walmart, I was still being very active in the program, right? Because once you're active in the program, you're a part of the governing body. You start going out, venturing out, doing different shit. And one of the responsibilities that I have at this time, when it was the anniversary for the rehab, once a year we have the yearly anniversary in this party. So what we do is we have to go around to different AA meetings around town and give them an official invite. We have to go to that meeting, take a fucking like an actual envelope with an actual invite and a poster, and our job was to go there. And so I didn't have no way to go. I don't have a car. I don't have no money. And then they wanted me to do the service. And then one of the guys from one of the service, the table members that were with me, he said, "Hey, pues yo te presto mi carro. I'll let you borrow my car for the trip. Just put gas in it." And I was like, cool. And this was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Is when we're leaving, I'm backing up. This guy has a reverse camera on it. I'm pretty sure you guys already know where I'm going with this. Pulling backwards and I'm reversing out of the driveway, and I'm chopping it up with the guy that's the passenger, and I'm backing up, and I back up all the way into my neighbor's car, into our neighbor's SUV. Boom! I was like, no. Guess what the fuck I did? Put that fucking truck in drive and took off. My fucking phone started blowing up like a motherfucker. Just my padrino was calling me talking trash. The other señoras that were right there in the house were talking trash. The owner of the truck was in there talking trash. And I didn't want to go back. I was just so embarrassed. I knew what happened, and it was hard to face what I had to face. And I'll continue this story tomorrow.